There was a exploit where you could stagger shot, meaning just click your mouse multiple times to fire rifle, and that was shitty because what it would do is it was programmed with your first few shots would always hit dead center, and then it would kind of go less likely to hit where you're aiming at. It lowered the rate of where the accuracy was. So people would just keep spamming it to make it shoot more bullets accurate. I never did that because I thought it was fucking cheating. So I actually was doing well just doing it a normal way. And I remember playing that at LAN parties and people getting pissed. They would not play that fucking game.
So after, and that was definitely a big one. And that lasted years. That was whenever PC gaming and multiplayer games would last a whole year, if not more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because you would buy your own servers. I mean, I even owned my own server at the time. A lot of people had servers that they bought, and they still didn't know how to set them up. So I'd go into a random server, check and see. I'd enter the console command to see if the password was the default password. If it was, I would just go to a map I wanted to. I'd be controlling the server without the fucking owner being there because of that. And so that was fun. At the same time, Return to Castle Wolfenstein had a great multiplayer It wasn't like a beta. It was a demo.
How many years was that? That was like years in the making, right? Like 10.
Yeah. No, Return to Castle
like
Wolfenstein was quite a few years. I mean, it was like 6 to 8 years, I think, to make it. But they had like a demo that came out, and it was like 3 to 6 months that it was playing, and it was awesome. And then the full version came out, and I bought the game, and it sucked. They changed so much into it, like the multiplayer part. They changed so much from the original demo to there. It was worse.
And that was whenever it's not like they were, casually updating it.
No, I mean,
it was this to that.
Yeah, it was this to that. It just changed majorly. And so I didn't like it as much, so I kept playing Alien vs. Predator 2. And then, it kind of got to where Xbox and PlayStation 2, Xbox came around, they had online functionality. They eventually had Xbox Live.
I'm remembering one that I feel like you used to play a lot, Unreal Tournament.
Unreal Tournament. Okay, so that was more of a game that I would play LAN style. They did have a lot of servers and stuff, but I would always play that LAN. So I remember playing I would play with Brandon. I think you played sometimes too.
Yeah. And I was like, this shit's fast as fuck. I have no idea
So
what
there
I'm
was
doing.
original Unreal Tournament. I think there was Unreal Tournament 2004, and then they had Unreal Tournament 2005 or 2006. It was like the next one.
Yeah.
And 2004 was really good, but the one they released right after it, they added vehicles and shit, and it turned to shit. Like, they should have just kept it an arena shooter, because it was like Quake 2 and Quake. It was the more fast-paced shooter. You could do crazy, ridiculous moves. You could, like, jump from different levels and, like, backflip and fucking headshot somebody.
Well, they had one, I think, just called Unreal Tournament that came out for 360, and that had
it was the same.
That had hovercrafts. Was that bullshit, or did you like that type of...
It wasn't in the PC one, I don't believe.
Okay, but
so I think that one may have added that.
I remember liking
waters.
It. I liked it because it was just to get around the map quickly, but you couldn't shoot while you're doing it, so you had to get off and then start shooting.
Was it a multiplayer or was it just single?
No, it was multiplayer. That whole game was just multiplayer.
See, I don't remember. Because they had a single player you could play with bots and shit. I just didn't remember that. So I don't know. I didn't really get to play that part of it.
Okay, so that was more just LAN though. So what was your next? So then you were saying PlayStation, Xbox kind of started getting...
They started getting there. I never really played too much of that. This is just kind of giving you guys a timeline on when it was, progress, what was happening in the mainstream versus the PC market. And then I think my next big game was after Halo came out on the Xbox, they released a PC port of it.
Yeah. Because that was actually legit Halo. You didn't have to go to GameSpy and fucking find a server that you half-assed logged into. No, you actually had it. I was another part of another group that played together. I think I even started my own. The thing about Halo was, you had all these different maps. You did have vehicles, but it was done right. It was done where you could actually, and the big mode there was capture the flag. It was a real good competitive one. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that's where it kind of got famous and everything. I remember that it was real popular because at the time they had the Machinima series, which wasn't don't be confused with the actual channel Machinima, but it was just what they called it when you did, like animations in game to make a story. But it was when Red versus Blue was really big. It was just coming out. So everyone loved Blood Gulch. So we played a lot of that. And at the same time, Half-Life 2 was about to come out. Okay. So you played... Okay, so then after Halo, was Half-Life 2 the next one?
No, because, see, what happened was it didn't really originally have a deep... I don't think it even had the deathmatch at the beginning.
I thought it did, but it was just...
It was added later on.
Okay, but it was just like a shitty deathmatch.
It was just deathmatch. That's all it was. And I was planning on jumping to that, but we stayed for Halo for a while, and then they ended up... It was the weirdest thing. Instead of supporting the Halo PC, they released another Halo PC. It was still the same game and everything. They just overhauled a little bit, and it was only the multiplayer part of it. So anybody that wanted to play competitive had to switch to that. It was called is called Halo CE Edition on PC. Even which is weird because it was called Halo Combat Evolved was the real name.
Well, that's
of the
stupid.
So I don't know why they named it that, but yeah, we had to do that, and it kind of fucked some of the things up. It made the pistol even more powerful, which was kind of weird. But we did that for a while, and then I kind of fell out of playing games on the PC, and I kind of went to, once Xbox 360 came out, I went to kind of just playing just casually like racing games and shit like that, and co-op games. They were cool, like doing that.
Yeah.
But then Call of Duty 4 came out, which was the first Modern Warfare. It was actually called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and it was before, Activision re-released it as, some crazy-ass expensive bundle and then added microtransactions, all that shit. That was where it became insanely competitive, and there was more people out there that knew what they were doing on the PC.
Well, yeah, there was like millions and millions after
there's millions of people out there doing that, but I just used to love because at that point in time, this just goes to show you how the industry has kind of changed too. At that point in time, when there was an update to the game, it wasn't like Steam. Steam was still very, very new, so not everything was sold on Steam. So this was like a game where it had its own server browser and everything where you could connect to games, but to get updates, you physically had to go and download an update somewhere. You had to know the update was released and download the install file and install it. But the good thing about that was it actually had every single added multiplayer map was free. So meaning, let's say, I don't remember how many it started with, but let's say that it had eight. It's
almost like an incentive to get people to download it.
Yeah, pretty much. And that was what was cool. This is before DLC packs.
And consoles never did free stuff, really.
No, at the same time, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, they would charge for those new maps. It would be like...
That was the thing about PC back... I mean, even now...
Yeah, I think it'd be like $10 or something like that is what they charge. But
I feel like... they're just way better on PC as far as deals and everything you get. Okay, so... We kind of gone kind of quickly through your stuff. I know there's one segment of this, but like pretty much okay, now I want to ask this one question now.
Sure.
And then now you play more like single player, just like stuff with co-op and not as much competitive.
I'll tell you this. I played competitively the Call of Duty games up until I want to say Modern Warfare 3.
Okay.
That was probably the last one I played, and I was playing the ones annually. Nowadays, I mean, it was years ago. I started streaming on Twitch before streaming on Twitch was a big thing. It was just becoming a big thing. It just switched from the website justin.tv to twitch.tv. And I started streaming on there after watching people do it for a while. But I was streaming primarily either single-player games because I never had really... Like, even the Call of Duty games when I was playing those, or even Halo, I never played the single-player game of it. I always just jumped right into multiplayer. And so what ended up happening was I started going through these single-player games, some older games, some newer games, some recent games, and going through those. And then I ended up enjoying co-op games a lot more because it was just fun to be able to play with people.
I mean, I agree with you. Like, I don't do competitive shit as much anymore. Fred kind of does. But also, one question, we'll wrap this up. But what do you prefer, if you think about from now, how competitive gaming is, to back when you first started? Or is there like a happy middle?
Between me, I would say either in the mid 2000s, like right whenever, like 2004 to 2007, I think was the prime time to really be into online competitive shooters.
So we will leave it at that. Thank you, Justin, for coming on.
Sure.
We had promised something that we're going to start possibly doing this week. We ran out of fucking time. So next week, now it just means, Fred, we'll keep them anticipated. They're like, what the fuck are they going to do next week?
Yeah.
And guess what we're going to do?
We're going to do it.
Or not do it, and then we'll just keep them waiting. It's kind of like the Browns winning the Super Bowl. It's like, they just keep putting them at the edge of their seats. So like, no win season, fuck you. No win season again, we're just kidding with you. Keep it up to come back next year. And then it's like, what are we going to do? Lose a fuckload, and then we're going to get the first round draft pick, and then we're going to... Doesn't matter. No one fucking understands what I'm saying. I don't even understand what I'm saying. Fred... You and Justin have now driven me to drink almost an entire bottle of fucking champagne.
Fantastic. Okay, so this has been Game Genies. Game Genies is your cheat code to sounding like you know more about games than you actually do. We combine our lifetime's worth of gaming knowledge with today's most interesting games to give you the insight that you might not already have. But if you do have that knowledge...
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
All right.
I guess we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I gotta go fuck myself now. Thanks again for having me, guys.
Hey, thanks for being on Game Genies.
Hey, Fred.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Genies, keep on flying.
End it on that. No, don't fucking stop saying keep on flying. It's the worst thing to say. It's not fucking Fred Durst.
Keep on flying.
Goddamn, how long was that, Fred?
Keep rolling, 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 rolling.